Hey guys, what is up? So I wanted to do a quick update slash what's been going on. Surprise! I got the Omnipod. Also, don't mind me, I look like a mess. I actually recorded this video last week, and for some reason it just got lost and I don't know where it went. So we are going to be recording on my computer, so if it gets a little blurry, I apologize because my phone is not like syncing up to my computer, so I apologize for that. But anyways, I got Omnipod, and I'm super excited to share with you my experience. So I've had Omnipod for a week now. I got it last Tuesday, and it is currently Tuesday. So I've had it for a week, and I'm super excited to tell you guys the pros and the cons. Before I do that, though, I wanted to update you guys. So I've been gluten-free for 3 or 4 weeks. We went back on gluten, and everything was great. Like, we were not sick at all, which is amazing. So we weren't sick. Nothing was wrong. Yeah, we're not eating gluten all the time now, but we're definitely not limiting, like, any gluten. Like, we can still have gluten, though. Anyways, so let me update you with the Omnipod. So in case you don't know what it looks like, this is what it looks like. They have 2 different versions. One version is like a smartphone kind of thing, so it looks exactly like your phone. But my insurance would only pay for this one. So we went with this one. I don't know if I had mentioned previously that I was looking into the Omnipod. I can't remember. But I decided to go for it and see if I would like it or not, because I was just getting tired of doing shots all the time, and I was bruising, and I was like, this is just too much, so let's try it. So I got it, and the coolest thing about Omnipod is that if you don't like it before 45 days, like if you get it and within 45 days you don't like it, you can get your money back. So that's really cool. That was probably one of the deciding factors for me, because I'm really weird if you don't get your money back. Another deciding factor was that my insurance paid for 90%. So that made it even better. So the payment wasn't that bad. So also another cool thing about Omnipod is when you buy it, you don't have to pay anything up front. Speaking of it, you can see it on my arm. This one? Yeah. And, okay, so we're all into this debt-free stuff, so we're trying to get out of debt. But the cool thing about Omnipod is that you don't charge anything. Like with Dexcom, you have to pay so much money up front to get it. With this, you don't. They bill you 30 days after you get it. So that's super cool. And you can do monthly payments, or you can just pay it in full, which we're going to pay it in full whenever we get the bill. Anyways, so pros and cons. That's a big pro, is you don't have to pay anything up front. So if you're stressing out about, hey, I don't have the money right now, hey, you don't get billed for another 30 days. So that's super cool. Another thing is that I really like. Okay, so let me show you what it looks like. Nope. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I have officially changed my pod twice. So with Omnipod, if you don't know, you do have to set it up with the trainer. They have to get all your information about your basal. If you're not diabetic, technical, or whatever, I usually don't use the term bolus and basal. In case you don't know what it is, basal is kind of like insulin that keeps you, it's kind of like a long-lasting insulin. So I was on Tresiba, which is a long-lasting insulin. It's 42 to 48 hours. Keeps you steady. With a basal is something that I'm getting constantly throughout the day. It's consistently kind of whenever. It has it on here like 110. If it goes over 110, give it a little drip of insulin. Bolus means that you are fixing to eat, or you want to drink coffee or something, so you're going to like cover for your insulin for bolus. So I was really weird about doing this. I was like, gosh, what if it hurts? But I was the same way with Dexcom. So I was super weird with Dexcom, and I was like, I don't want to have Dexcom if it's going to hurt me. But I actually absolutely love Dexcom. Like, I don't know how I was a diabetic for so long without having a continuous glucose monitor, which is a CGM. So really like it, and I was like, let's try it. So we went to the trainer. I took my husband with me in case I forgot some stuff. We went, and so this is the user manual guide. I'm not going to lie, I haven't read it. I watched a lot of videos, so they send you videos to watch. If you go to omnipod.com, I think it is, they send you all kinds of videos on how to put it in there. There's also other YouTube videos of people putting their sensor in and filling it up. Oh, crap, I should have brought a pod over here. I might have to go get it. Anyways, so a pod is what is putting your insulin in. I was really confused, just in case you're like me. I was super confused on how I was going to do 2 insulins. I was like, how does this thing hold 2 different types of insulin? It doesn't. You're just on one. So I am now no longer on Tresiba. I am on Humalog constantly. I've also switched to vials instead of pens. So that's really cool. It's just easier to get out. Pens don't last you very long anyways if you're doing a pump like this. Omnipod is said to keep 72 hours, I believe, of insulin delivery. I have heard the alarms. I've heard really bad things about Omnipod's alarms. That it's a great pump. Everything works great, but the alarms are just so loud. They're not bad. It's really not that bad at all. The hazard alarm is probably the worst one, but I'd rather know. I've turned all alarms off besides the hazard alarm just because I don't like alarms. I don't like being in public and having things freak me out. I don't like at night alarms going off. I mean, Dexcom, yeah, but I'm glad that the hazard alarm goes off because that means your insulin isn't being delivered and something could be wrong with your pod. Okay, so let's talk about when I first inserted the pump. So I was anxious on how to put the pump in. So with the Omnipod, with Dexcom, you're ready to just shoot yourself in. Like you hit the button and then the needle goes straight in. With Omnipod, that is not the case. So, so with the Omnipod, you literally stick it on your body like this. So I'm going to place it just like this. And then you hit start. And then it does like several small clickies. So it's like tick, 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 tick. And then it is like very loud, not very loud, but it feels like very loud. And then it goes, boom, like it's just, that's putting the needle inside of you. And it's kind of freaky sounding, kind of not the most exciting sound in the world. And it doesn't hurt to the point of like, I'm trying to think what it feels like. So if you've ever been shot with a rubber band, that's kind of what it feels like. Maybe a little bit harder than that, especially if you put it on your stomach. I felt like someone just hit me like bare skin with a rubber band. I guess that's the best thing. Or if you put it in your arm, the best thing I can think of, it feels like a flu shot, especially at first. And then after that, it doesn't really hurt. I noticed with it being on my stomach, I feel like I'm a little bit constricted depending on what I'm doing. So if I'm bending over like this, I can feel it a little bit more. I can't ever feel my Dexcom unless it's placed wrong. So that's something different. With the arm, I'm just very cautious. I'm going to knock it off because I've had the Freestyle Libre before. In case you don't know, I'm not a huge fan of the Freestyle Libre just because it had like welts on my arm. So I've had one knocked out before and I'm just insanely cautious. So I was super weird putting it on my arm, but it didn't hurt. It felt like a flu shot. It doesn't hurt now. I don't feel constricted with it. I just watch it wherever I go, just so I don't hit it on anything. Also, this video might be super long, so I'm going to tell you how I feel about the Omnipod. So whatever you have the Omnipod, you have to fill it full of insulin, and then you'll hear 2 beeps when the minimum amount is filled. Right now, I'm only filling 100 units of insulin. I am a diabetic, as you guys know, but I don't require that much insulin. I feel like my pancreas still is at that like honeymoon kind of phase where I still have to have insulin. It is required, but I'm not to the stage of using, gosh, my computer is like being blurry. I'm so sorry. To the point where I'm using 150 to 200 plus units of insulin. So I'm still very lucky. I don't have to have as much insulin as some of you guys do, and I hate that for you. Anyways, so I put it to 100. Whenever you're putting in the pod, it'll be like beep beep, and you have a syringe come with you. Next time I change my pod, now that I've changed it twice, I will do my best to record it for you guys. I like to have my husband with me because something with this tape I am just not good at. I have a problem of like bunching the tape together really bad instead of like getting all the wrinkled parts out. So that's not good on my part. See, it's all bunched up. But anyways, so there's that. I'll try my best to record it next time. So you put the thing in, you'll go beep beep, and then you're ready to put it on your arm. After it goes through the priming process, with the priming process, you literally just keep the pod and your receiver thing right beside each other. It'll prime out air bubbles. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but every time I get insulin out of my pens, because I'm still currently using pens just to get rid of all the insulin, I get air bubbles, something terrible. So you have to keep flicking the syringe trying to get the air bubbles out. And then when it's priming, it'll get the rest of those bubbles out itself. But try to get as many bubbles out as possible. And then you put it on your arm and it does a click, click, click. One of the things that I was weird about, I was like, okay, if I turn the alarm off to see if it's like communicating with each other to give yourself some insulin, how do you know it actually gave yourself some insulin? So it clicks. It's not to the point where every time it's annoying. It's not annoying at all. I like to be able to hear that it's giving me insulin, or I don't think it's working. So it's like a when it's giving you insulin. So you know it's delivering. It also gets a little bit tighter whenever you give yourself insulin. The best way I can explain it on your arm, it's like if you have a blood pressure thing on there, like say you're getting your blood pressure taken on your left arm. That's currently where my insulin pump is. As they like squeeze that thing, it gets tighter. So that's what it kind of feels like to me, at least on my arm. On my stomach, it just feels like pressure. So it just feels like blood pressure. The blood pressure thing is just getting tighter on your arm, and then it kind of releases after it gives yourself insulin. Also, I want to let you guys know, because my husband and my mind were like blown last week. So every time I have gotten insulin, I have always kept it in the refrigerator. If I haven't kept it in the refrigerator, if we've gone out and I need to take some insulin with me, I've always had ice packs. Just to let you know, in case you're not like me, and if you are 100% like me, like we need to have a diabetic community thing, because I feel like I never knew this. Anyways, so after you start using an insulin pen or vial or whatever, you're using it, you take it out of the refrigerator and keep it at room temperature. Mind blown, guys, mind blown. We always have taken a lunchbox with us. We've taken ice packs. I mean, obviously you don't want to leave your insulin in like a hot car, because then that won't be good. But seriously, I didn't know this. And I've been a diabetic forever, it feels like. So just to let you know, if you are still using insulin out of the refrigerator, you don't have to. It also says it whenever you get your prescription. It says to put it at room temperature. I never read those things, so I was like, oh, you always just leave it in the refrigerator, da 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 da. Yeah, you don't. Just to let you know. Also, when you're putting an Omnipod, you have to have warm insulin, not cold. So make sure, I mean, not warm, but like room temperature warm, because the cold doesn't really work with it. Okay, so the pros, I 100% recommend Omnipod. I've never had an insulin pump, so I can't really compare it to other insulin pumps. I can only compare it to injections, and I really like it. The reason I chose Omnipod was because it is waterproof. It is tubeless or wireless or whatever you want to call it. And I feel like I've got more freedom with this. I don't like that it's bulky, but it's really not that bad, guys. It's not that bad. The con, I only have one, surprisingly, because I'm really picky on diabetic stuff. The con I have is when I first changed my pot, and I believe this was probably on me or something. I was with the trainer, and I think I had like tensed up really bad, because I was like, what is this going to feel like? 'Cause being a diabetic, I still am not a huge fan of like needles and everything. It kind of freaks me out. But I put it on my stomach the first time, and then my husband and I went to change it 3 days later, because they only last 3 days, and then you change it. I bled something terrible, guys. And my trainer called me yesterday with the Omnipod. She was like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I guess I hit like a little artery or whatever you call them. I don't know, guys. It was like 3 paper towels full of blood. Don't let that freak you out. I'm sure I've done it with Dexcom before. I've actually had Dexcom like bleed through the tape. So I think it was just me tensing up. So one of the things is don't tense up, guys. I know it's a lot easier said than done. But if you don't tense up, your body is like more relaxed. Where if you're tensed up and you're like freaked out, it's going to hurt worse, number one. Number two, you don't want to hit anything that could seriously like damage your body, which I don't think I ever damaged my body. But I did have a lot of blood coming through. Now, I have changed my pod again. I did not bleed at all. I have not had any rashes, because I'm really weird with medical tape. No rashes. The tape reminds me a lot of Dexcom's tape, so that's not bad at all. I'm trying to think. I was trying to see my stomach. I've moved to my arm. I'm not probably going to move to my legs. I know a lot of people put it on their leg, but I don't know. It just kind of freaks me out putting it on my legs, because I just can't do it. I think my stomach and my arms are going to be kind of my rotating bases. I don't want to put it on my back either, because I feel like it's just going to hinder the way I sit or the way I lay at night. As far as sleeping at night, that's another thing I wanted to mention. I haven't had any problems. The first couple of nights I had it on my stomach, I felt a little weird just because I was like, oh my gosh, what if I hit it? But it's not like to the point where it's crazy. You do have to get comfortable if it's on your arm. Like if you're like a side sleeper, you don't want to push so much pressure on it because I feel like it's irritating it. But it just kind of depends on how you sleep. I used to sleep on my stomach a lot. I don't sleep on my stomach now that I have, gosh, it's so blurry. I don't sleep on my stomach now that I've had the Omnipod on my stomach. I just feel like something's blocking it. Like I feel like, I don't know. I don't like it. I've slept on my stomach with Dexcom, but it's a lot thinner than what an Omnipod is. So I don't sleep on my stomach if I have Omnipod on my stomach now. So there's that. But I mean, that's not much of a con, I don't think, at least in my opinion. Other than that, I really love the Omnipod. I am going to get more shipments. I'm going to put it on auto ship, which is something you can do. I love that my insurance covers most of it. And I just wanted to tell you guys something. So I had been keeping you guys updated on my sugars whenever I was gluten-free. Whenever I saw my trainer, she was like, your sugars are phenomenal. My A1C, in case you guys haven't seen my latest video, I think I posted it a couple months ago. I believe it was a 5.1, which is amazing. I'm pretty sure I posted that video. So that's super cool. But with the Omnipod, they want you, like, they want to show your insurance how good it is improving and, like, how necessary, in a sense, it is. So whenever I first got the Omnipod, okay, so this was 1 week ago, because today's Tuesday, and I got it last Tuesday. My average glucose was like 118, which is really good for a diabetic. Or it might have been 116, one of those. Anyways, so I have noticed Omnipod makes a difference. Look at this, guys. Average glucose, 114. In range, 96% of the time. 3% high, which I was at like 6 to 9% high. A 1% low. Y'all, this is incredible. I want to download the 7-day report real quick because I've had it for a week now. I do feel like my sugars are more on like the 70 to 80 side, not going below 70. I have a little bit, but not to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. But I have only had one sugar hit 200 within the last week, which is incredible. And the only reason it hit 200 was because I was really bad and I ate some peach cobbler. So shame on me. And then I hit one sugar hit 179. That was on Sunday. And it was because, okay, so Omnipod gives you like a suggested bolus before you, because you put your blood glucose in here, you get it from your Dexcom or you prick your finger, you put your glucose in here, and then it'll give you a suggested how many units you think you need to do. I should have done more because I should know coffee raises my sugar something terrible every time I use it or every time I drink it. So I was like, oh, let's just see what the suggested bolus said. And I was like, shouldn't have done that. So that made my sugar go up. And then peach cobbler was really bad, which my sugar would have gone up anyway if I was been on injections. But, okay, so I downloaded the report, guys. Let me show you this. Let me zoom in. 110. Do you see that? 110 is my average glucose within a week, guys. A week. I am 98% in range, 2% high. Guys, getting a pump makes a difference. I'm not telling you have to get a pump. I would never tell anyone that. My doctor even said, I'm never going to tell you have to get a pump, because getting a pump is a big decision in your life. It's not, I mean, you could always go back to injections. I know a lot of diabetics have gone back, but I probably won't go back as long as insurance pays for it. It's worth it, guys. It's worth it. My insurance only covers the older version of it, and there is a newer version. If you guys have tried the newer version, let me know how it is in the comments below. I've heard some pretty great things about it. I'd love to try it. If my insurance does cover it one day in the future, I'd love to see how it works. Just to see if it makes your life a little bit easier. But this is pretty easy to use. It reminds me a lot of the Dexcom receiver. I never use the Dexcom receiver because I always have my phone. But it's kind of just the same. But you would just hit the home button and then it tells you your name just to make sure you have the correct Omnipod. It's super cool, guys. It's super cool. They'll tell you what your boluses are. A home button will let you bolus. You would just hit bolus right there. I'm not about to eat. More actions, you would change your pod. Temp basal would be something like if you're sick, you would want more insulin coming through the day. It'll tell you my record settings, or you can suspend your insulin. Super cool, guys. The only thing I wish this would charge, like, this takes batteries, AAA batteries. It takes 2 of them. So you have to change that. I think the trainer said every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that. I wish you would kind of just charge like the Dexcom receiver does, but that's the worst thing. I'm not super worried about it. But anyways, I wanted to give you guys an update. Again, I apologize if the video is kind of blurry, and I don't really understand why. I feel like it's getting worse. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please comment if you have the Omnipod, if you have any other suggestions. I love doing these reviews for you guys. So far with the Omnipod, I've had it a week, and it is 100% thumbs up for me. Even if I bled, I don't care. Like, that's the worst thing. I can handle it, which it hasn't happened since. So I'm super excited to see how my sugars are going to continue. The next video I want to try to do is a video of putting in the Omnipod and how it works. Just so if you have the Omnipod or you'd like to get familiar with how to insert it and see if it like hurts or anything, I love to show you guys how to, work it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and give this video a thumbs up. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Bye, guys.